So this is actually the second Dan Trachtenberg Predator movie that we've reviewed on. We've reviewed now 3 movies on this show, Predator movies. The Predator in 2018, which starred Boyd Holbrook, which wasn't very good, and then Prey from a couple of years ago, which starred Amber Midthunder. That came out on Hulu. It was a straight to streaming thing. Really good. Everyone kind of liked that. They were like, we're so back. And so he's also come back for Predator Badlands. And it's interesting because this is now owned by Disney. It was acquired in the Fox merger in 2019. And you can kind of see a little bit of that in the filmmaking. Predator, of course, originally came out in 1987, a John McTiernan film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Classic of modern action films, spawned a million memes, a couple of sequels, a couple of bad movies and crossovers. But we're so back with this hit. So Predator Badlands, the story is the Predator is the protagonist. We meet Deck, an up-and-coming Yautja, they're called, the Predator, and he is the runt of the litter. He is small. He is seen as weak by his father, and he basically is ashamed of him. He flees his clan to the planet Genna, to bring back the skull of the Callus, this big mythical beast. And if he brings back the skull, then he will be accepted. He will get his cloak. He will be a true predator. But he's a little overwhelmed by the planet. It's a very deadly planet, death at every turn. We also, along the way, we meet Elle Fanning's character, who's a synth from the Weyland-Yutani Corporation that we all know from the Alien franchise. She plays Thea, a very plucky synthetic who's very emotional, programmed to be a little bit more emotional and try to understand the environment. They strike up a bit of a friendship, help each other out. They make some other friends along the way and battle the planet and some other evil that I won't get into right now. That's our setup. Zach, what'd you think?
So Predator Badlands is a very fun time at the movies. It is a great popcorn flick. It feels like a Saturday morning cartoon. It feels rough and tough. It's badass when it needs to be. It's charming. Honestly, it's got a lot of shades of The Mandalorian, but without like the family friendliness so emphasized. And pointedly with Elle Fanning sitting in the middle of it, right? Like that's the thing. We've got our kind of Mandalorian tough guy character in Deck, who's kind of our strong silent type, our warrior. We have a cute little kind of buddy that briefly shows up, not as emphasized as like Grogu, who is like side saddle.
It's a bit of a Baby Yoda moment.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a character just kind of hanging out in the second, third act, just kind of trailing in there. And then in between the two of them, we have our Elle Fanning character, who is this android who we find who's incapacitated and needs Deck's help, and Deck needs her information. So the two of them strike up this friendship. He literally throws her on his back with like some vines, and we got it. We got our backpack character, which makes them less like Mandalorian and Grogu and more like Luke Skywalker and C-3PO and R2-D2. And like that kind of changes the shape of what we're doing just enough to make this a fun adventure that also manages to be really like cool and badass and feel neat. Great set design, great art direction, really good music in Predator Badlands, like, and sharp effects all make for like a really fun 90 minutes, like really fun time at the movies. So I'm excited to talk about Predator Badlands. I didn't think this would be that good. Turns out it's really fun. So yeah, let's jump into it.
One thing I wanted to mention real quick is that this is the first Predator movie to be PG-13. Prey might have been as well, actually, but a lot of people were really worried about that because the Predator is known for being a pretty hard R kind of franchise, and so people were like, is it going to be too soft and too kid gloves? And I'm happy to say that it's not. We can talk a little bit about the changes of IP and franchise in the last 20, 30 years in a second. But I think one of the things that works so well with this is the action. We get tons of action the entire time. It doesn't really slow down, so it has a really quick pace. It starts with a big action scene. When we get to the deadly planet, there's death at every turn that has to be negotiated and survived, and Deck is learning and kind of training along the way. We do discover Thea, and there's just death at every turn, and so we get tons of Predator action. It does, like I said, it's PG-13, so it is kid-gloved a little bit more. You're not ripping people in half, but you're fighting CGI monsters, so it's a little bit more family-friendly that way.
Well, yeah, this is a production of Trachtenberg. Like, this movie's clever because it doesn't actually feature any humans. Like, at most you get aliens or androids, and none of them bleed red. And that's the MPAA is always big about that, right? We can't have red blood on screen. It's what Quentin Tarantino had to make part of Kill Bill Black and White. Like, that's not a problem here. We just didn't write any humans into the story, which is really clever. And backseating us with the Predator as our protagonist is flipping the script on the whole franchise in a way that is so confident and refreshing. And I think that's something that Trachtenberg really understands. Like, he does not feel like the weight of having to deal with franchise expectations in making a new Predator movie. Prey, Predator, Killer of Killers, and this Predator Badlands are all coming from him. And every one of those is like a clever, thoughtful, Prey not so much, reimagining of like the Predator formula, and it all works. It reminds me of Matt Reeves making Batman. Like, you'd think a normal director would come in and be kind of frightened by like, oh God, Predator fans, we got to have everything that's in a Predator movie, right? We got to have Arnold, and we got to have somebody getting covered in mud, and we got to have I Ain't Got Time to Bleed, and we got to have everything cool in a Predator movie. If we don't have that, it's not going to work, right? It's much like Shane Black's Predators. But Trachtenberg just kind of throws that against the wall. It's like, no, man, no, I just think they're cool characters. These like timeless intergalactic warriors who take no shit from nobody. And I think I can tell cool stories with them across time and space. And like, works great, man. Yeah, it turns out you don't have to be lore heavy. And this movie isn't. There is a bit of the Weyland-Yutani Corporation shows up, which is charming for old Alien fans. And those movies have crossed over here, right? Like, we've seen Alien Predator, Alien Predator Requiem. So that stuff's neat, but like, yeah, it's PG-13. You can take kids to it and it's passable and works. Also because there's not a lot of humans, not a lot of like cursing. So you don't have to worry about that really. Like, it's cleverly written in a way that it's not demanding of these elements that are like sorely lacking.
Yeah. It's really interesting, with our characters that are, like you said, it's friendly enough for the family. Sorry, I'm kind of blanking on what I was going to say. I had a brilliant point.
We got to talk about performances, and of which there's like one, effectively.
Yes, actor Dimitrius Schuster-Koloamatangi plays Deck, the Predator. He plays multiple of them actually, as because it's a very physical role, and also he's doing the voice, and that they developed a language for this, and that's actually him speaking. It's not a bunch of sound design stuff. I mean, I'm sure they did some post production, but like I said, they actually developed this language. It's very physical. He's got to do lots of like fighting, lots of action scenes. Got to probably wear a big clunky suit. But it just works so well. Elle Fanning, who's also having a year, she's in Sentimental Value, which is going to be a big Oscar film that we're going to watch at some point. So she's having quite a year. Like I said, she's very, very plucky character, more plucky than these synth. Usually the android characters are pretty heartless and cruel, and she's just a little bit more plucky. And she's it's funny because she has to kind of convince Deck to work together, because he's like, no, but the predators, the Yautja don't have friends. I can't have a friend, otherwise I'm weak. And he's like, well, what if I'm just the tool? And he's like, okay, well, I can have a tool. That's different. So that's real interesting. And they basically carry the movie. She's the kind of lighthearted, brings some levity to the movie. She has lots of action scenes as well. Like, they're like she was working on this at earning the paycheck for sure.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Her character's cut in half. So we really just have her top half, and she's getting carried around for most of the movie. And then you find out she's got a bit more to do. There's kind of some other things going on. And also we do end up maybe running into her bottom half again at some point. I think Elle Fanning's kind of tremendous in this movie, and she manages to be like almost annoyingly charming to start, and then like before you know it, you really fall for what she's doing, and she manages to be curious. Like, that's what works so well about her character. She's not telling Deck what to do. She's like suggesting and asking questions and trying to learn more about him, and like he starts to develop a kind of understanding of her. Yeah, originally he takes her because it's like, well, you have an encyclopedic knowledge of this place I've never been. that's invaluable to me. You're coming with me. But before you know it, it's like, well, hold on a second. He actually maybe starts to care for this thing a little bit. It's funny because the movie opens with a title card. Predators are prey to none, right? Like they are nobody's friends. They are only predators. That's all they do. And then the movie goes to great lengths to disprove that. Like it gives our character a name. It gives him a family, a brother. Like it gives him a goal, right? It gives him a friend. Like it turns out that predators can be so much more than that. And ultimately, like that's what makes them strong, and that's what makes them capable, of not just being brutal killers, but of understanding. Deck's ability to see the world around him in this movie, these like worms that blow up if they get too close to something, or like these like lizards that shoot darts, or these poisonous plants, and like adapt those into weapons and like turn that into something that he can use against his enemy is really clever. Not only for defeating the beast that he is coming here to get, for getting the head, the trophy of this intergalactic creature, but also for like figuring out where Elle Fanning's characters come from and how to get that back, and maybe even how to get back to his own planet. Like larger problems that loom over his story.
So one of the things that's interesting in the Predator films, the Predators have incredible technology. Like they have an invisibility cloak and all this targeting stuff, and they're not just fierce warriors. They're technologically more advanced than the people that are hunting. What's interesting here is that Deck loses all his gadgets like right at the beginning of when he crash lands on the planet. He's like everything gets taken from him basically, and he doesn't have like his nifty targeting stuff and bombs and all this stuff. And so he just kind of has to use his wits, and he's got his plasma sword. So he starts in a very vulnerable state, and then the planet Genna is very they do a lot of interesting creature design, monster design. The environment is very dangerous. There's a place where they have this field of what they called razor glass. I was like grass. Razor glass.
Yeah.
Which is grass that will just cut you. It's like a bunch of knives, and along with deadly creatures, deadly plants, all manner of things looking to kill you. So like the environment is a character in itself.
Yeah, and it's a real sharp-looking movie, too. Like, this is the biggest budget Trachtenberg's had to work on with these, right? Prey was a lot smaller and was for Hulu. Killer of Killers was animated and would have been cool, I hear, for live action. I haven't seen it, but I think it would have been an insane budget. So this is a comfortable $120 million to start, right? Like, which is, I think $120 million is what it cost to make this movie, if I have that right. I might be confusing it with Frankenstein, which was definitely $120. And like that gives him a lot of room. And what I thought was really interesting is how much of the movie the Predator has his mask off, which is almost the whole movie. Kind of can't believe it. It's way cheaper to keep the mask on. That's why they had a mask back in the day. That's why the first Predator had a mask, because it was a cheap outfit, right? Anybody could be under that thing. Like, and then just at the end of the movie, they can take it off and have like an alien face effect. Like that was kind of just like a reveal at the end of the Arnold movie. Whereas this one, like almost the entire runtime, it's off, which is crazy. And a lot of the effects, a lot of the practical stuff looks so clunky sometimes. Like, so, Deck will be picking up like gadgets and they look so plastic, but they sound like metal. And I'm just too old to be watching these things now because it's a PG-13 movie. But like the monster stuff looks great. Like Elle Fanning cut in half looks awesome. Like the creatures he's fighting are wild. Like the skylines and landscapes are cool looking. The soundtrack is great. Like these deep hums and hymns. I was reading that the Predator language had been developed in this movie by like the guy who came up with the Na'vi language for James Cameron in the Avatar movies. So like they got lore and they got like books and stuff, like, but this movie is real light on that. This just focuses on like, hey, there's this one predator who's got to get this trophy and get off this planet. That's the goal. That's what we're dealing with. And it's smart. It's sharp. It's humble. I think he'll probably get another movie after this. I mean, if anything, I think there's talks of him taking over the Predator franchise, like James Gunn and DC. Like maybe he gets an Alien movie. Like I don't know.
It's really interesting where IP is right now, because when these movies came out, movies just used to be made for adults a lot more. There in 1987, like you literally didn't have any kids properties. Things that are being made in movies now were just starting. Things like Ninja Turtles, Super Mario Brothers, that kind of thing. So it's interesting to see a franchise like a hard R Predator change over time, change hands, change direction. This is probably softer than maybe diehard fans would like. But again, you're in a different era. You got to get families going. You got to get kids. You don't want to be making a hard R Predator film that's going to alienate half the audience. So it's in
No.
good hands, but it's interesting to see things change. Definitely a little Disney-fied, like I said, shades of the Mandalorian, and you get a Baby Yoda character as well. It's like, are we going to start selling these plushies? Who knows? But it's interesting, but I think it's going in a good direction.
Yeah, and I think it's everything that The Mandalorian isn't. And I think it's really notable that at $40 million, this is within striking distance of Alien Romulus' opening weekend. And that had a way more buzz. The Alien series has always had more gas than the Predator series. Like, that's just the way it's been. It's fine. Alien got a TV show that we covered here in multiple episodes, Alien Earth, right? But this is, I think, a new high water mark for Predator. And it's clever because it just flips the very idea of what a Predator movie is, right? Rather than our characters being fearful of the monster, we are just with the monster. Like, we are the monster, and I think that's really cool. Also, both monster movies this week. It didn't even mention that in the open. Probably should have, right? It's a monster fest here in early November. Any other thoughts for recommendations, Andy?
I think I'm ready.
Andy, would you recommend Predator Badlands?
Absolutely would. Had a great time with this. Lots of good action, fun characters, interesting story, more heart than you might think a film like this could do. Interesting to make the Predator the protagonist and to be the one to struggle. I saw this in IMAX. The sound is incredible. So see it in a loud place that really helps bring you into the movie. It's a lot of fun. It's got shades of Disney ownership, but that didn't really bother me too much. So highly recommend. See it in the theater.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Predator Badlands is surprisingly good. I will be telling dudes in my life that they should check out the new Predator movie, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I saw something about that. Didn't see it. Worth it." It'll probably be going to Hulu, right? 20th Century Fox Disney, so that's where it'll be. It'll be right next to Prey. They'll probably have a Predator banner up, and like whenever it shows up there, it'll be on the front page. But for what it's worth, it's in theaters right now. Worth the time. Go see it on a big screen too. Get the primo. All right. I don't know if you got to get the D box and have your seat like tilt and whirl and throw you, but like you definitely want like the big screen with the loud noise. I don't think it's an IMAX, but like Dolby, Cinemark XD, however you're watching these big screen, laser projection, whatever. It's worth it. It's worth the extra couple bucks. Go see it with the boys in your life. Go see it with the kids in your life. They'll probably like it. It's a good time. Predator Badlands. We got to talk about trailers. I was going to make a clumsy transition, but we should just move right into trailers. Andy, what do you want to call that? But please, what do we call this?
It's time for the trailer park.